Hello everybody and welcome back to Robert's Reviews. Today we are doing a classic, kind of. It feels like a classic, but it was made in 2004. But it's kind of weird how that happened. We are doing The Polar Express! The Polar Express was released in 2004. It was written by Robert Zemeckis and William Broyles Jr. and directed by Robert Zemeckis. So, for those of you who have not seen the movie, it's the first ever motion captured full length film, which is really interesting and quite revolutionary. Real quick, what that means is that they motion captured, right? So, say my face went, right? So that means that they put like markers on my face and they watched where a computer watched, analyzed the dots and could see when my face moved, right? And then that digitalized it and moved it onto a screen into what they call a body skin. So basically it's like an avatar, right? So like, say you're playing the Wii, right? There's a game where you can like move your sword, right? So the video game is recognizing a sensor that does that. But essentially what would happen where you're motion captioning, you would have little dots on there, and it would recognize when you would do that, and it would digitalize it into a computer under a different skin, which is what they did for this movie, which is why talking about it's going to be kind of difficult, because they had different actors that did different voice acting, so it's super complicated, and I'm actually kind of excited to talk about it. But essentially what happens in this movie is a non-believer who is called Hero Boy. There's no name for him. We don't know what his name is. But this little boy, does not believe in Santa Claus anymore, right? He used to, but now he doesn't. He's getting older. He's at that point where he's like, Santa Claus doesn't exist. So then the Polar Express pulls up in front of his house. And it is for people who are starting to not believe. So they get on the train and they take him to the North Pole where he's supposed to see Santa Claus, and then believe again, and therefore the spirit of Christmas does not die, right? So this movie's interesting, and I say that for a variety of reasons. I'm going to talk about the animation first. So, I already discussed that it's motion captured, right? It's the first ever fully motion captured movie, and most blockbusters nowadays have motion capture in them. But this is the first fully animated motion capture film, which is quite revolutionary. However, the technology was not very good, right? So, like, when you would smile, you'd be like this, right? So you can see, like, my individual smile, right? But you can't visualize that because you can't put in the teeth, right? So what would happen is that the computer would recognize that your mouth is going up, right? It'd be like, and then they would know that you're smiling, right? But it can't replicate what's going on inside your mouth. So they also can't replicate like where your eyes are going and stuff like that. So it's really complicated because they have to like kind of guess as to what that would look like. Which is fine, kind of. It's not like the end of the world, but it's not great either. It's kind of a problem, because it looks kind of dumb. And like now they can put a camera like right here as well, so you're really just acting to camera, which for one, sucks. It's not fun. I act for camera now, because I can't be on stage right now. It's not fun, okay? I prefer with an audience, which most of the time, even when you're in front of the camera, you have an audience. However, with a camera right here, like figuring out where you're moving your eyes and like your mouth and stuff like that, it just doesn't work out quite as well. And the second reason why the animation kind of isn't that great is because their voices are dubbed, right? So for Hero Boy, say, Tom Hanks would come in and do all of the animation for a little boy, right? And then they'd have some other kid come in and do the voice for it. So then the kid has to kind of figure out where Tom Hanks would talk and put the voice in there. And it looks weird because all of the children look really kind of weird. And then also they're all adults, which is really funny. It's really weird. These kids are like 9 years old, but they're all played by adults. And it's just capturing the way that their face moves, which is a little bit interesting because kids have a less expressive face, in my opinion. So I think it was a smart idea to do that. But at that point, make it about adults, maybe, and then, therefore, we'll have to have the lip dubbed, because the audio just did not quite sync up every time. Which, I can't really complain about it. It came out in 2004, but I am going to complain about it. It came out in 2004. Like, we've had phenomenal movies that came out with really great technology before that. And not that this technology isn't revolutionary, because it is, and it changed the way that movies are made forever. But it could have been a little bit better. And I do think that they could have spent a little bit more time and money into making that. However, I understand, because it is the first time that they ever did that. And they probably thought it was going to be a flop, but it wasn't a flop. This movie feels like a classic, but it's not a classic, because, like, it came out in 2004. Like, I was born when this movie came out, which blows my mind, because I feel like I shouldn't have been. I feel like I've watched this movie every day, every Christmas since I was born. Like, it's one of those movies where I watch it every year still. Especially the years when it's on Netflix, which it's not right now. So unfortunately, if you want to watch The Polar Express, it is currently unavailable in the U.S. on Netflix. So I had to rent it. It was on Netflix in like July, but it's not right now. I hate rights and royalties. It should be everywhere. Let's talk briefly about the acting / voice acting. It's going to be complicated, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to name the person who acted first, then the voice actor, and then the pictures will pop up on the screen. Probably going to have actor's going to be, alright, I don't know where my hands are going to be because it's like reflected. In the top left corner will be the actor, and then in the top right corner will be the voice actor, except if they're the same, in which case it'll just be one picture. Cool. So you have Tom Hanks as Hero Boy, Father, Conductor, Hobo, Scrooge, and Santa. But we're only going to talk about Hero Boy, who is voiced by Jimmy Bennett. No, sorry, that's Billy. It is voiced by Daryl Sabara. There we go. That's the person that's on the screen right now, Daryl Sabara. So, which blew my mind, because I had no idea this is the kid from Spy Kids, and I'm watching this movie, and I've watched this movie so many times, and I had no freaking idea until I just Googled a picture of him for the freaking editing process, and I was like, no way that's the kid from Spy Kids, but it is the kid from Spy Kids. If you haven't watched Spy Kids, what's wrong with you? I'm definitely going to be doing a series on Spy Kids at some point in the future when I run out of ideas. First of all, let's talk about the acting. So, Tom Hanks did a wonderful job in every role that he did in this film, particularly, in my opinion, the conductor. I think he did a really great job as a conductor, mainly because I think his voice and his body position went together. They complemented each other. Whereas we had Daryl Sabara trying to mimic Tom Hanks's voice, like not voice, but like facial movements and body movements, which probably felt unnatural for Daryl. But phenomenal job, great character. I think would be it's easily my favorite character in the movie. Is Hero Boy, mainly because it's so dynamic, because he starts off as a non-believer and then ends as a believer, and then I'll talk about the differences on the other people as well. And this one's just the one that has the best arc, and they did a really good job portraying that, and I really enjoyed watching this character. So we're going to talk about Hero Girl now. Yeah, ooh. Who is portrayed by Nona Gaye, and it is also voiced by Nona Gaye, so she did both, so good for you. So her character is about leading, right? So she starts off as kind of indecisive and unsure of things, and she's never sure of her choices, and then towards the end she's like, yes, that's my choice, which is an interesting arc. I think it's a little bit of a loose arc, if you're asking me. They could have done something a little bit better with the character, but instead they decided to do that, which I felt was kind of a waste of the character. But overall, not bad. I enjoyed watching her, but I enjoyed Hero Boy way more. Okay, so we have Eddie Deason as Know-It-All, and I'm pretty confident he did the voice acting and the motion capture for both, for Know-It-All, which is the character's name, which is ridiculous. Also, fun fact, Josh Hutcherson also came in and did a little bit of motion capture for Hero Boy, which is really interesting because it was like one of his first ever movies, and he was barely in the movie and was barely credited. But anyway, Eddie Deason as Know-It-All, he's okay. I think the character's fun, but he has no arc, right? Because he starts off as a know-it-all, like he wants everything, he's very like stingy kind of, and then by the end, he's just supposed to have learned something, and I don't see what he learned. He didn't learn jack squat. I think it was kind of a waste of a character that they could have really made a really cool arc. They probably could have made him make like a really big mistake or something like that and then have to learn from it. It would be really interesting, but instead he just kind of they're like, oh yeah, he learned something. And I'm like, what did he learn? But whatever. Not a huge fan of that character almost at all. And we have Peter Scolari as Billy, the motion capture. And then we have Jimmy Bennett as the voice of Billy. Billy's an interesting character as well. So he's a loner, and then in the end he has friends, which is fine, I guess. It's interesting because that's his entire character arc. His entire character arc is just like, I have made friends. Which I think is a better character arc than some of the other ones, but definitely not as good as Hero Boy. I honestly didn't really enjoy the character very much. I felt he was kind of boring. I understand he was lonely, but I almost wish that we had some more intimate scenes with him where we were just alone with him, so we understand that he's alone, because whenever we see him from people's perspectives. So it's kind of hard to imagine him being alone, particularly when the main characters keep noticing him. I think we needed a little bit more background for us to fully understand that he's alone, which I understand he is, but I feel like it could have been portrayed better, and it could have made it easier on the audience to understand that. So overall, not a bad movie, not a great movie. It's not like the best thing that's ever been made in history, but I'm going to go ahead and give this movie a B+, because it's not bad, but it's not perfect. I hope you learned something from this episode at the very least, about motion capture or something like that. I had a good time watching it again. I really enjoyed it. If you like this movie, drop it down in the comments below. Be like, yes, great movie. And I'll be sure to respond to you guys. Make sure you give me comments about what you want me to review next. I've got January planned out, and then I've got February kind of sort of planned out, and then probably by March I'll run out of requests, and then we'll just be running on series. So just let me know what it is you want me to review, and I will add it to the list. Make sure you subscribe. A lot of people that are watching these videos are not subscribed. If you subscribe, that'll really help me out and really help out me being able to create these things, especially considering now I'm going to be going back to work, and then in about a month I'm going to have college again, and I'll be working on the weekends, so it'll be kind of hard to make these things, but I'm definitely going to do it. There's no way I don't do it, but it'll make it easier if I have a lot of subscribers who are interested in watching my videos. So make sure you subscribe if you like watching these videos, and there'll be more content for you. Tomorrow we will be reviewing National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which I have not watched yet, believe it or not. It is one of the very few John Hughes movies I have not seen yet. I'm quite excited to watch it, and I hope you guys are excited to hear me talk about it. I'm sure it's some of your guys' favorite Christmas movie. But yeah, that's really all I have for you today. So as always, keep watching movies and television. Stay educated, and I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next video.